Hello, hello, and welcome to It's All Subjective Live. We are here. It is the 11th of April. Let's talk about vaccination passports. So, where are we at with this? I figured the best place to start looking is by seeing what the mainstream media wants you to think about these before we make our own decision on them. Let's see what they say. Maybe they're onto something. Maybe not. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments as we go along. Let's pull up the first article that caught my eye, which was from CNN. I know, fantastic, right? Let's see if we can pull that up real quick. There we go. There's a lot of debate about vaccine passports right now. What are they? And how would they work? Just like a national passport, a vaccine passport could allow the bearer entrance to a venue like a crowded concert or a foreign country. So basically, if you don't have that with you, you wouldn't be able to do certain things that in any other time in your life, perhaps, you may have been able to do. Aaron C. says, if you don't accept the vaccines, they won't work. Can you elaborate on that? Vaccine passport is just proof, this is what CNN's saying, is just proof that a person has been immunized against COVID-19. It could be in the form of a smartphone app or a written certificate. And that apparently, according to CNN, it can be the ticket back to normalcy. It could reward people for getting vaccinated by allowing them into a crowded concert or ball game, and offer them peace of mind that the person next to them has been immunized too. Now that is a little ominous. It is your ticket back to normalcy. It will give people peace of mind that the person next to them has been vaccinated. I'm almost afraid to ask how they would react should the person next to them not be vaccinated. Aaron C. says, if you boycott and they lose money, they will let everyone in. That is true. That is true. If there is a big enough boycott, if it's organized. Once the money starts to drop, they're going to have to ease up on that. Otherwise, it will probably not end well for them. Florida and Texas have signed executive orders banning vaccine passports. Hey, good for them. Prohibiting the state's agencies from requiring a vaccine for any service. Now, I don't know if it is true, but somebody showed me an image, or not an image, it was a video of a emergency room or a doctor's office. And there were signs posted on the windows that said that they will not give you service if you have not been vaccinated. That is a little concerning. Israel has already instituted a vaccine passport which allows holders to go to restaurants and gyms. Although travel eligibility has been the primary focus to date, some use passports to regulate access to social and recreational gatherings, workplaces, or schools appears imminent. Could permit entry to otherwise restricted areas such as hotels, gyms, restaurants, theaters, and music venues. Now, in typical CNN fashion, their pros and cons are very minimal because they don't want you to think about that too much. So this is CNN. This is what they think. Let's see what someone like, let's see. What do we have here? Vaccine passports. What are they? And who might need one? From the New York Times. Though the idea is meeting some resistance over privacy and equity concerns, several types of coronavirus vaccination records already exist. Now, their justification is by saying portable vaccine records are an old idea. See, I don't like the idea of carrying around a piece of paper that will tell people what I have or haven't done medically. In one way or another, it almost reminds me of that scene from Joker where he hands the lady in the bus the card that says that he has a condition. Another justification. Many countries already require proof. Now, this is strange, folks, because the first thing that comes to my mind is all of the talk that vaccination passports are a right-wing talking point, that they will never happen, that they are a scare tactic from the right, from the conservatives. It is a way for them to keep power. And yet, there are dozens of articles from the liberal media talking about why vaccination passports perhaps should exist. And I find that quite strange. It went from a talking point, which they accused the right of doing, to a piece of agenda that they are now pushing. And this is not the first time they have done that. They did it with now President Joe Biden, who, during his debates, flip-flopped multiple times on numerous pieces of agenda, including but not limited to the fracking. Oh, it is a talking point. It is just something the right will say in order to keep votes. And yet, as soon as he's got the power, he goes through with it. Now, folks, I don't know how long this stream will go. I guess until we run out of things to talk about. But I would like to bring people's attention to something that has been going on locally. We will start here with a restaurant called Tin Horn Flats. And I will not blame you for feeling utterly disgusted by the time I am done talking about what has happened here. So, they defied Governor Hairspray, or Grand Moff, Gavin Newsom, who I am sure everybody at this point is familiar with. They decided to stay open because it is their livelihood. It is the reason why their family could continue living a normal, regular life. And now look at this. The 20-year-old, I believe it's the son, was, or the co-owner was arrested for removing the sandbags that the city had put to block the front doors of the restaurant. He is 20 years old. Was taken into custody. For the third time, he was taken into custody because he didn't want his family business to be wiped off the face of the map simply for trying to continue to exist. This is unjust, folks. It is frankly disgusting. If you go to this location now, at least for the past week or so, there has been protesters and counter-protesters demonstrating both in favor of and against this family. There are actually people out there with such poison in their systems, in their veins, that they had to go to this family restaurant and stand outside of it with flyers and signs calling them a health risk, calling them a nuisance to the community, trying to get them shut down. They'll never care about what happens to these people. They could end up homeless. Doesn't matter. Because these people sit on the highest moral throne. They will look down upon everybody else in disgust. Because their irrational fears have gotten the better of them. They cut the electricity of the restaurant. At one point, they brought in a generator just so that they could keep going. But now, the city of Burbank has put a chain link fence around it to stop operations. They are so desperate to stop these people from operating that they have elected to put a chain link fence around the restaurant. The amount of wasted resources that were needed for this is mind-boggling. The way I see it, if you don't want to eat there, don't eat there. If you want to eat there, go ahead and enjoy it. The city doesn't have to tell me where I can and cannot go to eat. The people who are against them have no right to stop people from going there to eat. That is my choice as an American to decide whether I want to eat there or not. Yeah, it was the 20-year-old son of the restaurant's owner that was taken into custody. The 20-year-old son. He's barely a young adult. And now he has 3 arrests on his record. For something as noble as trying to defend his family's restaurant. It is quite frankly sickening. And I'm not sure if I'm more sickened by the general public that has gone against these people, or the city, which has clearly taken a side on the matter. They have $50,000 in fines now. This is where we're at. And you think this is bad? Go up to San Francisco. That's where the real lunacy of this state is. San Francisco, which is run by Nancy Pelosi. Go take a walk there. And be careful, because you may either step into human feces or a used drug needle. But it's fine, because we, as a state, are going to put all of our resources into hunting down every last business owner who defied Grand Moff Gavin Newsom. This is where we're at. Show me one shred of evidence how I am endangering the public. The owner of the restaurant was a vocal supporter of President Trump. His Facebook account was removed, and his business Facebook account was subsequently removed because they simply said that those who do not agree with the city council should contact the members of the council and voice their concerns. That was worth a Facebook ban. There was another incident in the same area, maybe 15 minutes down. California business owner says he has to close up shop after a year of lockdown. Joe Tahanian tried to fight the government at the onset and ended up losing nearly everything. He owns a wine bar, or owned, I guess. He even sold his furniture to stay afloat. He had done a story about how he planned to stay open during lockdowns. The day after that story aired, authorities threatened him and he complied. And now he lost his business. They are now trying to raise money for him so that perhaps he could pick up the pieces and keep going. But you know what really gets me? What gets me is that the governor of this state was fine going to have his expensive restaurant dining experience while the regular people that live here, the business owners, the small business owners in particular, the ones who make or break their community through their success, he is, through his hypocrisy, showing us what exactly he and his type are. And when I say his type, I mean his political type. It is horrid. So this is where we're at now. We're in a state in which the small business owners can get arrested. They can get fined. They can get shut down, while the elite, the ones who shut them down, enjoy nice dinner at French Laundry, who have their wine tasting businesses open despite everything else being closed. And now they want to regulate you. They regulated the business. Now they're going to regulate you. How? By making you show proof that you got a needle put into your body. And whether or not the vaccines work, whether or not they have harmful properties, whether or not you want to do it, it should never be forced. To force it will bring chaos. And I'm not sure if that's what they're aiming to do. And if it is, they will most likely succeed, because I can tell you right now that there are going to be a lot of people defying that. There will be businesses defying that. How long will this go on? How long until I could walk down the street and not worry about being looked at funny for pulling my mask down because I am struggling to breathe? Especially as the summer comes on, it is a health risk for me, for members of my family, and I'm sure for many others. It is a health risk to not breathe in fresh air as you walk down a 95-degree California sun. And I worry that they are going to keep you prisoner until you get the vaccine. They will keep you prisoner in that mask until you are so tired of it that you bite the bullet. It is perhaps that which they want. If you ever wonder what direction the left wants to go, simply look at what CNN is putting out. Simply look at what MSNBC or the New York Times are putting out and follow that breadcrumb trail, because they will always promote that which the politicians in Congress, in the executive, want to push. And it is up to you to decide as a individual whether or not you will go with the herd, whether or not you should go with the herd, whether or not it is the morally right thing to do. But know that if you find it is not the morally right thing to do, that there is an army of people that will be waiting to crucify you for that. I'm willing to take that chance as an individual. I'm sure there are many others that are willing to take that chance as individuals. So I will leave this off with an open-ended question. It is quite simple. What are you going to do should the passport become mandatory? Alternatively, I ask this question. Where do we go from here? On that note, I would like to thank you for tuning in to this short stream. I simply wanted to add a little bit of information on these topics to the channel. They are local issues and they are national issues. Please do me a big favor if you haven't already and like the video. It helps a lot. Please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button if you have not already done so. Before I go, I just want to shout out, as always, the U.S. national debt clock, which continues to turn every second of every day, going up. Thank you for tuning in, folks. Your support means the world to me and the world to this channel. Have a great day, great night, wherever you may be. And until next time, it's all subjective.